from the beginning of recorded history, people have been telling stories. People love stories. They're all over the world. And, it's fun because stories capture that part of our brains that likes to simulate things, that likes to visualize and to have all the sensory information. And so if you want to capture and grab somebody's attention, using a narrative or a story format is actually the best way to do this. And it's very interesting. There's a man, he passed away a number of years ago. His name is Joseph Campbell.
He's great.
And I love his story because he was essentially the world expert in mythology. And, the stories that people around the world and throughout history have told to each other as a way of teaching or conveying information or expressing certain insights around the world.
He was a professor.
He was a professor, and what I love is that he was a professor, but he never got his PhD. He wanted to study this.
That's great.
In graduate school. His advisors would not let him. They said, this is not interesting enough for a PhD. So he quit, said, screw you, I'm moving to the mountains. And he read, 12 hours a day and, lived a very simple lifestyle in upstate New York. And then eventually got so good that one of the top private schools in the world, I believe it was Sarah Lawrence College, requested that he join their faculty without ever getting a doctorate in the subject, just because he was so good.
Written so many books and done DVDs, and he's
really
a
sharp
prolific guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Now, one of the things that he was instrumental in finding was actually a common pattern. So a typical storyline that these myths follow.
Okay.
And he called that the hero's journey, or sometimes it's called the monomyth. And stories around the world that get told over and over and over again follow this general pattern.
Okay.
And the pattern, it starts by introducing the hero, the protagonist, the subject of the story, who, is basically living just this normal, everyday, really boring life. Okay? And then the hero receives this call to adventure. There's a dragon to slay, or the princess needs saved, or there's something to go out into the world and do. Okay, so the hero, it could be a challenge, could be a quest, whatever, and sometimes the hero answers the call first. It just says, the princess needs to be saved. I'm gonna go save her. Or sometimes the hero ignores the call and something really bad happens. Like there are consequences. Okay? So at some point they accept the call to adventure, and that requires them to rise above their current level of skills and abilities to go meet this challenge. Okay? Now,
it's like Jack and the Beanstalk, I'm thinking.
It is.
Okay,
totally.
cool.
Jack and the Beanstalk is a great example of the monomyth. Okay? So Jack decides to climb the beanstalk. Okay. Now, as he climbs the beanstalk, he enters this world of adventure and mystery and things outside of the realm of normal experience, and undergoes a series of remarkable experiences that change him or her, and learning all the secrets that ultimately help the hero vanquish the foe or meet the challenge. Okay? And then after, slaying the dragon or defeating the giant or whatever, they receive some mighty gift or treasure or boon or, whatever, power, magic, that they can then go back into their normal everyday lives and bestow it as a gift to the people that the hero originally came from.
I can see this,
okay?
yeah.
That's the monomyth. Now, here's the interesting thing. And this is all, maybe very interesting from a mythological standpoint. What the heck does this have to do with business? Okay? The monomyth exists because it's an extremely powerful story format. This is something that people respond to sensory information, which stories typically contain a lot of.
Yeah.
But it also, stories contain emotional information. Things
yeah.
that go back to the core human drives.
Right.
Okay? And the thing is, your customers want to be heroes. They want to, when you are when you're reading Jack and the Beanstalk, you kind of take on the role of Jack. You're like, this is really cool.
Definitely.
Okay? So your customers want to be heroes. They want to be respected. They want to be admired. They want to be victorious. They want to be all of these things. And telling a story about your customers that have walked this path before is actually a really wonderful way of inspiring other people to walk the same path.
Is this the same as testimonials or different?
It's related to testimonials.
Okay.
So you may have seen, with a product or a service or whatever, the use of testimonials, which is just a different word for stories told about past customers. Okay. And usually it follows a similar format of, my life was not so great. I wanted to do something. I wasn't sure how. I found this thing, which is the call to adventure. I wasn't quite sure whether or not it would work, but I decided to give it a try anyway. And I did all of these things, and the end result was magnificent, and I am such a better person, or I've made so much more money, or
got it.
Cool. My biceps are 5 times now because I have done this thing. And so telling stories is a really great way of marketing to your customers, because what that allows you to do is present information that your customers want to know, but do that in a way that makes them interested. And by following this common format, in your testimonials or in the stories that you're telling, you increase the emotional impact those things will have on the people you're telling the story to.
Yeah, and that locks into core human drives, that locks into visualization, that locks into test drive, kind of.
A little, well, yeah, it's you're helping them visualize
what it would be like if.
What it would be like if they do this.
I like it. I like that.
So telling stories is actually a really powerful way that you can get people's interest. And by following this general format of making a lot of times when we're telling stories, we like to tell the story of us. Okay? How I did this awesome product, or how presenting yourself as the hero.
Right.
You are not the hero.
The product.
Your customers are the hero.
Right.
And you are the vehicle. You are the sword that your customers are using to slay the dragon.
Nice.
Okay? Those are the stories your customers want to hear.
Cool.
So presenting the stories in that format will get many people more interested in what you have to offer.